Yeah, you know what time it is. It is time for GB Weekly. That's way more effective when you don't play the song and it stops after a couple of seconds. How you doing? Welcome to the show. My name is Pete. This is GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today. Today we're talking about a bunch of things. We've got some tips for you on GarageBand. We've got a plug-in of the week, or do we? That's an interesting one. And yeah, music memos. Something's happened. If you haven't caught the news, we'll be talking about that in the show as well. But if it's your first time here, my name is Pete, and this is Studio Live today. My goal on this channel is to help you create, record, and release your best music. We do that through tips and tricks and tutorial videos just like this one. If that's your bag, consider subscribing. This is a live stream. This is a bit different. So for the next 45 to 60 minutes, we'll be hanging out and catching up on all the news, views, and reviews of the world of GarageBand. We'll be having a bit of a rant, and we'll be trying to get as much GarageBand goodness into all of our lives as possible. G'day to the folks who are here live. I see Blueser, I've got Death Chains here, Danny Broderick, Tom Rochelle, Scott's here in the house, Cold Acre. Too many people to name them all, but thank you for being here throughout the show. If you have questions, we will have some Q&A later on, so please put question in front of your comment if you do have a question, and it just makes it easier for me to see it as we go through the show. But for now, let's dive into the news of the week, what's been going on in the world of GarageBand in the last week. And I've just realized that I need to open up, I need to come in here and open up my my YouTube, because I made the notes directly into the description today, which is a bit weird. I normally have my own separate notes, so I'm gonna have to jump in and go to my own description of my own video to make sure that we have the notes. Let's not bury the lead anymore. So if you haven't heard the news, if you are a GarageBand iOS user, I know many of you are, you will have probably seen by now, if not from my video, then from the news and from opening it yourself, Music Memos is going away. Now, what is Music Memos? Well, Music Memos is the companion app for GarageBand. So what you can do with Music Memos is record an idea, and that's what they call them. They record as ideas, and then you shimmy those across to GarageBand, or you can just leave them standalone, and then you can build them out into whole songs. I know many of you use some Music Memos in your world. So if we jump over here, this is what it looks like. You hit the big record button. I don't have a mic plugged in. You're recording some chords. You can play acoustic guitar, keyboards, you can sing, you can hum, and then the cool thing it does is it actually tries, I say try because it doesn't always succeed, but it tries to work out what the chords are, and then you can actually add some bass and some drums to it. So it's a very cool little app. And why are Apple getting rid of it? Your guess is as good as mine. I'm assuming it's simply taking more developer time than it's actually adding value. So folks are probably not downloading it and using it as much as Apple would like. So they've decided to pull the plug, which means that this version 1.07, will be the last version that we actually have access to. So let's come in here. I'll give you a quick demo in case you've not seen. In fact, we will save most of it for the actual part. So this is just the news. We've got it as my topic of the week. But you can see here, it's a really cool app. It determines all the chords here. You can add your bass and your drums, and it will still be around. So again, we'll dive into it in the next section. But to give you the Cliff Notes version, it's going away, meaning that you won't be able to download it from the 1st of March 2021. Also my birthday. So happy birthday, me. We've killed Music Memos. We've killed one of your favorite apps. So you'll be able to continue downloading it. If you have it downloaded before the 1st of March, you'll be able to re-download it via your previously purchased apps in the App Store. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to do that thing where, oh no, if I get a new device, or if I accidentally delete it or it offloads, I'll never get it back. It'll be fine and dandy. So once you've got it, you're good. And Apple have said at this stage that it will stay around in iOS 14. So if you have iOS 14, you can continue using it. I'm a little concerned that they said iOS 14, because that could mean that iOS 15, they completely fully deprecate it and don't allow it to work anymore. We know that's the case. We know that's happened with other apps in the past, and it is definitely in the wheelhouse. It's a likely thing that could be the next step, is if iOS 15 has some updates and some new features, they're obviously not going to update Music Memos. So unlike GarageBand, which gets updates into future iOS versions, Music Memos will not. So the future is a little grey at this point in time. Now, what have they said? Well, they've said you can use voice memos instead. We'll take a look in a little while at exactly how useful that may be. Pete and I share a birth month. Cool. You're probably a Pisces too, Gary Hubs. I missed the wrong one. But hello, Kev. Hello, Kev Lynn. Yes, yeah, we share a birth month. So you're probably a Pisces. We Pisces, we're overthinkers. We're creative. But we're usually born in March or February. Yeah, it would be nice if they incorporate some of the features of voice memos. And look, who knows? They're clearly putting a lot of development effort into voice memos. They made a big update with iOS 14 for voice memos, so we shall see. We'll see what actually happens there. Yeah, maybe they'll replace it with Logic. Maybe they're freeing up developer resources, Bubba, so that when they bring out Logic on iOS, then they'll have enough devs to actually do it. We shall see, right? We are mere followers of the Apple. The Apple will tell us what they're going to do. What else have we got in the news? Well, there's not a whole lot of else going on in the world of GarageBand, but I did want to give you an update on the Mac. So the Mac M1s have been out in the wild for nearly a month now. The early reviews, we've all got over that warm and fuzzy honeymoon period, and people are starting to actually put them to work. And yeah, we're finding that there are a few cracks. So it did look good. It was like a brand new house. You know, when you go into a new house and it's all nice and it's all polished and everything looks good, and then you live in it for a month, and suddenly you've left your dirty socks on the stairs, and suddenly you've dented the wall because you banged a chair into it. Yeah, we're starting to see a few of those scuff marks on the Mac M1. Nothing devastating, but some of the main problems that folks are having are compatibility of older apps. So we knew that going in. Some of your older Mac apps are not going to run as well. Good news is GarageBand is. So GarageBand's been optimized for the Apple Silicon and for Big Sur. So GarageBand is apparently, I haven't seen virtually no one having issues with GarageBand or Logic. From all reports, everyone using GarageBand and Logic have been loving life, and it's been working well for them. I haven't actually dove in and checked out GarageBand and Logic. I will be doing that over on my Patreon channel this week just to get started, just so that because I know not everyone wants to see probably a 2 or 3 hour live stream of Pete fumbling his way through GarageBand. But if you do want to get a little more information and see some behind the scenes stuff, you can join me over on Patreon, and that's at patreon.com/PeteJohns. And a shout out to my current Patreons who are supporting me and keeping the lights on. I know I use this joke far too much, but here's what it looks like without your support. The lights are no good, and here's what it's like with the support I get from this wonderful community. So whether you are hitting the thumbs up on this video, sharing this video, subscribing to the channel, supporting me on Patreon, making a one-off donation, or just being a cool person, then you're doing your bit, and it all helps. So that's the news and notes. I know nothing drastic, nothing huge this week apart from the poor fate that is music memos. We will see what comes of that. And in fact, I think we're going to dive into that. Is that our very next section? Should know the order of it is. It's our feature topic. So if you are not familiar, because here's the thing, I did a video yesterday, so you can find that. It's the last video here on the channel. I did a video yesterday about music memos, and yeah, a lot of people said, hey, I didn't even know this was a thing. So there you go. Sometimes when things are, when they're in the news for negative reasons, like they're being removed, then people will discover them. And the good news about this is it looks like we'll get some use of music memos for a little while to come anyway. Let's jump in and take a look at what Music Memos actually is and what it can do, or a bit of a refresher if you don't know. So as I showed before, all you need to do to record in an idea is hit the big record button. When you record, it does a couple of things. It will record in the audio, but it also analyzes that audio and attaches chords. Pretty cool, yeah? So it says, yep, you're playing a G, you're playing a C, you're playing a D, and then it tries to attach chords. Does it get it right all the time? Heck no, but it does a pretty good job and it's pretty fun. So let's instead of doing a fresh one, let's come back to an idea that we had. You can see my naming conventions here are amazing, but this one called Acoustic Jam, I at least know is something. So there you go, we can just hit play on this one and we'll turn up the volume. There you go. And you can hear there that some drums and bass were coming in, right? Pretty cool, yeah? So we'll tap on this one to expand it out. And this is what you get with Music Memos. So you can see here, it separates it into bars. It tells you what chord you're playing. For some reason, it doesn't know the first chord. It's a D, Music Memos. So it separates out your track. And then you can see here where it's got the little G, the C, the D, the G, the D. It's working out where these go. It's also putting them into bars here, which is pretty cool. Now we can adjust this stuff. You can tap this button in the middle here. You can trim out your idea if it gets too much at the start or the finish, so that's pretty cool. We'll just cancel on that one. And you can actually change up the chords that it thinks things are. So for instance, here you can see, yeah, it knows it's a G there, knows it's a C, knows it's a D. This section here, it reckons there's no chord. There is a chord there, Music Memos, it's a D. So we'll tell it it's a D. And that way, it will actually play along with this when we do the next thing, which is the coolest feature of Music Memos. And what I'll miss the most is just adding a little bit of bass and drum. So if we come to a different part of this idea, let's just come down here. The idea sounds like this. So cool, yeah. But what if we want to find out what it's going to sound like with a bit of bass and drum? Well, all we need to do, let's add some drums. We'll tap on the drums button and hit play. What about some bass? All we need to do is tap the bass button and hit play. And because Music Memos knows, or at least guesses your chords, it can add in the drums and especially the bass in the right key with the right notes. It's pretty epic. You can even tap and hold here and you can change it from electric to upright. Just very similar to your smart grid. You can change this. So if we want like a loud, complex bass, let's just go a modern kit, really loud. And instead of on the toms, let's bring it onto the hi-hat. And let's just take a listen to what these drums will sound like tweaked. Cool, yeah. Very, very cool. And the even cooler thing is that with Music Memos, we can export directly to GarageBand. So let's do that now. I'll take us off the screen real quick, just because whenever I hit share, it brings up a list of people that I've communicated with. And look, it says Jade Star, Stu Cashmore, Tom Rochelle. So it's all people that you know, but just in case it pops up email addresses or the like, I like to make sure we are respecting people's privacy. So yeah, so here you go. You can export from here, and we can export it as audio directly to different places, or we can actually, I haven't done this in a really long time, so that's that's sharing the song. I've forgotten how to do it. It's been so long I've forgotten how to export to GarageBand. Is it one of the ones down here? Yeah, because see, this is going to just export the actual audio. Let's go more, shall we? Yeah, I've totally forgotten this. We'll do GarageBand. We'll just see if this works, okay? We'll boom on that one. And let's see, it should open up GarageBand. It should create a new track. It's probably going to fail. Look at this, it is. It's because I'm already in a song here in GarageBand. Let's go out of there. Right, so, oh yeah, there it is. So Acoustic Jam. It's brought it on here into GarageBand. If we tap on that one, there you go. It worked. It didn't tell me it worked, but it did work. So how cool is this? Yeah, I'm using AirPlay. I understand, Apple. It's brought this in here. It's given us a 1-bar lead in, and then it's got this here. And it's not only brought in the audio of the guitar, but it's brought in Darcy on drums, and it's got our electric bass. So if we play it here in GarageBand, pretty cool, yeah? Yeah, so this is what was exciting me and exciting many other people way back in the day, in the good old days, was that we would have the ability to do this. Now, there were some limitations with this. The tempo was one of the biggest limitations. So if we come in here and we take a look at tempo, let's just bring you back. Take a look at tempo. See how it says automatic? So there's no way to actually change this to a BPM. Even if you play to a click track, unless you're perfect, it will say automatic. Which actually means a couple of things. It means that GarageBand or the Apple ecosystem does have the ability to have a flexible tempo, so a tempo that changes, that goes up and down. And yeah, well, actually, that's the only thing it means. But it also means that your little clips here are not going to be much good. If you do then want to bring these into a final version, because they're not going to sit right on a grid, it's going to be an issue. Now, what I've usually done is played along to a metronome in Music Memos, and to be honest, I know there's some folks, so like Maffy's Garden is one I know that actually uses their original Music Memos recordings to actually record songs. I tend to use it more as a scratch pad, and then when I've got the idea down, I'll actually go away and re-record all the parts anyway. So yeah, I probably didn't use it as much as many other folks did, and in exactly the same way. But yeah, I think it was cool technology. And look, I know it never worked perfectly, and I know that it required a bit of tweaking, but I love the idea of this as a concept for songwriting, and it does feel a little bit like we've taken a wee step backwards because what Apple have said, again, if you missed the very start of the show, what Apple have said is, it's all good, people. You don't need it. You don't need it anymore. All you need is love. No, all you need is your voice recorder app, and you will be fine and dandy. So let's come in and see if that is indeed the case. Oh, I'm just going to bring up some of these. Just make sure that I'm not showing. Oh, there's a problem with voice memos. It names. I was saying this yesterday. It names everything. It names everything about your location. So I'm trying not to put something on the screen that shows all the places I've been. Because yeah, not that it matters. I'm in here in Adelaide. It's not that big. Let's here we go. Yep. See, home. These are all called home. This is back before. So these are old ideas before GarageBand got super creepy and decided to actually track you. So this is voice memos, right? So these are all the voice memos that I have here. And if we want to go into, so here, for instance, my song Perfect, I had an idea for an intro. So I have used voice memos quite a bit anyway. So yeah, if we come into this one, we click there. So if we can play this in voice memos, well, why is it not playing audio? See, there's your first problem. It's not actually playing back the audio through my AirPlay here, like the others did. I don't know why. Anyway, we won't dwell on that, but yeah, you can actually play, you can do the same sort of things here, and we do have some edit options in here. So we can hit the edit button, and we've got some basic editing. So you've got some basic trimming here, where you can trim the start and the end. I think you can do cuts as well. Haven't quite worked it out yet. Yeah, I'm sure it's possible. We'll just, how do I exit? Cancel. Cancel out of that one. What does this button do? What does this button do? I don't even know what that one does. I'm going to have to explore this. Where's the help option? Yeah. No. Yeah. So, oh, that's my shortcuts, my keyboard shortcuts. Jump back, jump forward, play, pause, start new recording, delete, editing. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot. I don't even know what replace is. What can we do with replace? Not sure. So that may be the next thing that I need to dive into is now that we've been told voice memos is the new where it's at, maybe I need to work out. And if you're wondering, by the way, where it actually puts your music memos, so there's an option now to take all of your music memos recordings and throw them over to voice memos, and where it actually puts them is, I'm not showing my screen, where it actually puts them is over here in this folder. Yeah, so it's got a folder here of music memo stuff. So it'll plonk all of your music memos recordings in there, and then you'll get them. But of course, you only get the audio. You don't get the bass and the drums and all the awesomeness that was music memos. It is just purely audio. So, what do you think? Do you think was this always going to happen? Do you think this is a good move, bad move? Don't really care because you don't use it. Would love to know. So if you are watching, if you're live, let me know your comments and I will circle back to them here on the show. And if you're watching on the replay, leave a comment down below, just below the like button. Yeah, there you go. Hit the thumbs up and then leave your comment. Let me know what you think about music memos. Yeah. So music memos, so we've got De Fingers, Marcus Manderson here. Voice memos is definitely a step back. If they had to get rid of one, they should have gotten rid of voice memos, right? Or what a lot of people have said is just add that functionality to voice memos. Just have a little button that says, I'm a muso. You hit that, and then suddenly it just throws the old music memos options onto your voice memos. Because not everyone's going to want it. I get that. Like, we are probably 5% of the voice memos users, those that are actually using it for music. Most people are probably like, get milk. That's their voice memo. Or remember to write memoir. I don't know. What do people put on voice memos? Interesting. I need to go back through mine and see what they think. Yeah, they might do that on March 2nd, right? So maybe we'll be waiting, and on the 2nd of March they'll just add things to music memos. Yeah, very, very bad move. Yeah, I mean, I guess on the plus side, they're not just quashing it and they're not killing it forever. But yeah, I'm hoping that we see some more development, or maybe it opens up for an independent creator, independent developers out there. make a music memos. Apple have just stepped away and left it open for you. Before there was, you were like, well, why would I do it when Apple are doing it? Now there is very much a reason. Where's our who the audio Kymatica audio share folks? You guys can do it. You're good. Clevgrand can make some simple apps like that. Clevgrand, there you go. There's your task. Get on it. Create a Music Memos Mark II. It'll be cool. Mark says, bad idea. I hope they'll add an option in voice memos. Yeah, we hope so. Hello to Roadrunner Sky. Definitely a bad move. I mean, yeah, I think so. Oh, howdy. Oh, I clicked the wrong button, but it's Jade Star saying hooty. So hooty to you, Jade Star. Is anyone going to sample Pete saying, get milk, and put it in a song? Get milk. Get milk. Righty, okay. Andy says, I've got band rehearsals from years ago still on my voice memos. Always handy if I forgot my parts. I read that first as I always forgot my pants, which is even funnier if you think of pants as the UK version of pants, which actually means underpants. Anyway, we're moving on because that was Music Memos. That took up a lot of time, but I wanted to pay homage to Music Memos because I loved me some Music Memos. It was cool. It was very cool. All right, rant of the week. My rant of the week this week is about bugs. Probably because I've had some bugs. Now, I probably didn't even finish off my ranting about the Mac M1, but so I've been loving using the Mac. I'm not on it today because I still don't have my reflector set up, so being able to show the screen and share audio from my iPad and everything, still not quite there. But I've been loving it. The things I haven't been loving have been the random bugs that have been happening. And here's the problem. I don't even really know where to go or who to ask or what to do. And I know, like, Jade's been helping me out and she's been giving me some tips and ideas and been talking about the Apple forums. I've never been to the Apple forum. When I have a problem with GarageBand, I never think to go to Apple, which is weird, isn't it? I always go to other communities around here. So, yeah, I'm thinking, I need to find a Mac community that I can join. But it is annoying when you are starting to use something and you get bugs. Even more annoying is when bugs don't exist, but then they're created by adding new things. So when you get a new version of something and it breaks something that was working perfectly, that's a pain. Now, what is the way around this and what's the point of ranting about it and worrying about it? Well, there isn't really. And I guess I'm saying this as much to myself as anyone else, is that we still live in the future. It's still pretty amazing the things that we have and the things that we can do. There's just something that gets my goat about this. And then, especially when we get an update that is just bug fixes and system improvements. In fact, did I just see that there's another Mac update? I think just before I started this. In fact, that probably should have been in the news. News flash. There's been another GarageBand Mac update, hasn't there? I know I saw a video from Patrick, the GarageBand guide. So I'm pretty sure there is. So let's go over to let's you and I go to the GarageBand guide and check if Patrick's got a new video. And I haven't watched it yet. And he probably wants you to actually watch it. So go watch the video. But another update, GarageBand 10.4.2. Let's see if in his description he has it's Patrick here. Let's see Patrick. It's Patrick here. I always pause on a beautiful shot of Patrick. So let's come here and have a look. Has he told us anything that's going on here? It's not. Yep. I wonder what Apple have in store this time. Oh, he's a true pro, isn't he? He's kept us hanging there. I wonder what Apple have in store this time. Well, if you want to spoil it for us, GarageBand Mac users, what did we have in store? I think I just saw that it was more bug fixes and stability improvement. I don't want to steal Patrick's thunder. You should still go and watch all of his videos because they're cool. But what actually was it? You know what we could do? We could search GarageBand Mac App Store. And see, will it bring it up here? Yeah, we'll bring it up here, right here on my PC. It's almost blasphemous, isn't it, that I can look up this on my PC. So GarageBand, a recording studio on your Mac. Let's check the version update. What is new in the version history? This update contains stability improvements and bug fixes. So hopefully it contains stability improvements and bug fixes and not new bugs, because that is one of the most irritating things. We knew that in iOS 14 when we had updates that were stability improvements and bug fixes. And you know what? We got that weird automation bug. We got that weird, actually that was around before, wasn't it? That was in iOS 13. But we got that new bug where your AU plugins would just disappear. For other folks, they would all turn orange, and some people still have that. On some devices, everyone's AU audio unit plugins are still orange, and they don't actually have the icon. Still working, but they're orange. So yeah, the stability improvements and bug fixes are kind of starting to do my head in. And every time we see one of these one step forward, two step back kind of updates, I think to myself, sometimes if it ain't broke, or is that the problem? If it ain't too badly broke, do we just not fix it? And maybe this is what they're thinking with music memos. They're like, well, we could introduce new things, but it's probably just going to break old things. Who knows? And I do love, by the way, that the last two updates were 10.4.0 and then the same day, 10.4.1. There you go. That just shows you that shows you something about the bug fixes and the stability updates and the things that are going on there. So there you go. Hopefully Patrick has found something under the hood about that. Then yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out. Yes, GarageBand Mac is updated. Yes, let's continue. And Mark says that mostly bug fix, but improvement for voiceover. Oh, well, that is a good thing. VoiceOver is good because I know we have many vision impaired folks here on the Studio Live Today community, and that could definitely be a good thing. Anytime that they update something that's accessibility, then that is a good thing. So I will applaud them. We'll give Apple a little clap for that one if they're going to improve things for our vision impaired friends to be able to use their Macs. Because one thing I have heard, and getting into this like the last 5 years, I've been contacted by heaps of folks who use the voiceover feature, who create some pretty epic music. Shout out to my buddies Asa, to Solrak, to Melissa. There's a bunch of folks in the community who are vision impaired, and they create awesome music with their phone, with their iPhone or their iPad. And if the Mac is going to get better for accessibility as well, that can only be a good thing. Anyway, I know that was a bit of a weird and random rant, ranting about bugs, but it does bug me. Get it? It does bug me. And the bugs I'm experiencing at the moment with my Mac mainly is a screen related one. So just plugging into my screens, every time my Mac goes to sleep or every time I turn it on, it reverts to 60 hertz mode on my monitors. Now here in Australia, it's 50 hertz refresh rate that we need. Otherwise, you get weird stuff going on. So every time I turn it on, I have to try and get to the screen. I get this weird flashing stuff, and then I have to get to my system properties and change it back. That's been a pain in the butt. Obviously, my Zoom live track not working, that's Zoom's fault. They just don't have drivers for Apple Big Sur yet, for Mac Big Sur. Hopefully that will come in the future. Most other things, though, yeah, haven't been too bad. I haven't experienced major bugs. Oh yeah, apart from the some of the software stuff was actually my fault because I didn't realize that when you ran a piece of software, it just put it up the top there. Like, so your taskbar is not at the bottom like Windows, it's up the top, and it was just hidden in a little tiny icon. And I thought I couldn't switch to these apps. They were running, I couldn't switch to them. It's because they were resident programs and they were sitting up the top. And yes, I know many Mac people are laughing at me now, laughing it up. Speaking of Macs, Mark, you just got your Mac. How you finding it? Let us know. It's always interesting to find folks that have used iOS or that have been using PCs that are switching to a Mac or starting to use a Mac. Would be good to find out. Let's move on to our next section. Again, that was a weird rant. So, tip of the week. Oh no, the tip of the week. We might have to do this on the fly because my tip of the week was going to be recording in TrackView. I've got a problem here at the moment, which is that my screen sharing won't work at the same time as my. Speaking of bugs, I've got a bug here at the moment where I can't actually share my screen and actually play it through my audio interface. That's what it's called, Pete. So I'm actually playing audio through AirPlay, which means I'm not going to be able to do the tip that I was going to do. So we'll think on our feet. We'll jump to the next thing that I was going to talk about, which is our app or plugin of the week. And weirdly enough, I'm not even going to use an app or plugin of the week. Let's get rid of this. I don't want this acoustic jam there. I'll get confused. We'll delete that out of there. What I'm going to do. Why am I in recent? Oh, I hate recent. I hate your recent. All right. By the way, if you're ever in recent, bonus tip. When you're in files or when you're in GarageBand, this recent tab is awful. It doesn't let you do a lot of the things on your project. So if you're trying to compress projects or share projects and it's not working, almost always it's because you're in the recent section. It does some weird stuff, which means you can't actually do the proper things. Always come back to the actual folder to actually get your projects. It'll work a heck of a lot better. So let's come into ideas. Let's create a new song. I wanted to talk strings today. Excuse me. I wanted to talk strings because strings are probably the most underrated instrument that we have here in GarageBand. Remember, for all I say about GarageBand and Apple, GarageBand is free and the plugins and the instruments you get in here are also all free. And the strings here, we've got smart strings, notes, scales, and more sounds in here. The string sounds are actually super cool in GarageBand. It's actually a very handy app to use. So we're going to do a rolled up double version here of showing you strings and showing you some tips about using strings. So let's just tap on strings. Bring it in here. Yes, I'm using AirPlay, so it's not going to be as perfect. Oh, and we still... Bugs. So here's a bug. Here's a bug for you. Mouse users. Who's with me here? You get a dialog window like this. You click it. Oh, it worked that time. You have to click it 3 or 4 times before it actually comes up. And then... we can play. So here's the cool thing about using the strings is that you can actually just tap right here and you can get some nice staccato. So staccato on your strings. You notice here we've got all of the strings enabled at the moment. We can say we just want our cellos and basses. Let's turn off our violas and violins. We can now just go. We can tap on those ones. Now to play your strings, it's cool because you can use like a bowing action, yeah? So if you tap and hold and move up and down, and as you can see there, pizzicato, sorry, not staccato. Thank you, Gino, in the chat. Pizzicato, staccato is like a zhung, which we'll show you in a moment. But yeah, to play some legato, hold down and move up and down. If you just want a bit of a staccato, you can do a little flick like that. That's your staccato. Just flick it. Flick or hold down and you get to like kind of bow it, and depending where you bow, if we go down here, you'll get a different sound, right down to here. So you've got some cool flexibility here and it's a fun instrument to play. Let's turn these off. Let's go back and bring in our violins and violas so we can get more of a that sort of sound. Now we're here in the chords mode at the moment, and this is where I use most of it, to be honest. I'll sit in here and I'll basically just play in some chords, just use my finger to gently play in some nice chord sounds here. We've got a few different types of strings. At the moment, we've got cinematic selected. If we tap that one, we can have cinematic, modern, or pop, or romantic. And they all just have different styles, different sort of attack and release times. So for instance, pop, like when you actually tap it now, it's going to be a bit more responsive. Bit of a brighter kind of sound. Cinematic gives you more of that. So cinematic's definitely more for your pad sounds. So you can experiment with the different types that you have there. Yeah, well, let's just have them all on there. And we also have a notes mode here. So the notes mode is pretty cool because we can now you can do some sliding up and down the scale. You can also hold down on the bridge up the top here and oh, I'm not getting it right. Get some more staccato kind of sounds. And if you want the open string, by the way, just got to be right down the bottom here. And you can even get the bad sounds by being slightly off the dot. So these dots will tell you where, because remember, you don't have frets. No, for our guitar playing friends, no frets on your violin. So you can get some cool effects or sometimes some unintended effects by playing that. You've also got your scale here. So this is cool if you want to play in something, the major pentatonic, something that's usually pretty cool. So if we just play here. So you can go up and down on your scale there, and you can choose a bunch of different scales. I know this is something that most of you probably already know, but it's always good just for a refresher. Sometimes I do these and someone's like, oh man, I didn't know it did that. And that's the cool thing. There's always something under the hood to discover when it comes to this. And obviously you'll notice that we can only have one instrument selected at a time when we're in notes mode because it's just one instrument. If we go back to chords mode though, we can have them all here. Finally, it is autoplay time. Autoplay is cool. If you've not used autoplay before, you've got 4 different settings here, and when you tap on one of these, you'll get something like this. Very nice, yeah? But here's the cooler thing, that we've not only do we have these 4, so if we go to number 4 here, so that's tapping with one finger, but guess what? We can tap with 2 fingers and listen to this. We get a different sound. And you guessed it, tapping with 3 fingers and we get a different sound again. Oh, goodbye. So that's pretty darn cool, yeah. So you get 12 different variations because you've got 4 here and you've got 3, because you've got 3 fingers. You've got 3 different variations on each of your autoplay. And it does make life very cool, because if you just want to throw in something sort of random, let's just say you're working on a track and you just want some nice strings. In fact, let's go the high-end strings. So we're going to use autoplay 3 here. We'll hit the record button and then we'll just record in. I'll just choose 2 fingers and we'll put it on a G. So let's hit record and hit the G. That's a pretty nice sound, yeah. So we've got a nice little sound there with our violas and violins. Let's see if this is going to work if we just try something different. It'll probably end up sounding dreadful, but we're going to just experiment. And this is why it's fun. We'll grab this. Let's go autoplay 4 this time. We're still going to be on the G, but we're using our cello and bass. And in fact, what we're going to need to do is duplicate out this track. So we'll tap on this one, we'll duplicate it, and then we'll come into our new track so we can start layering up some strings. So we'll come into here. Again, we want to just have our cellos and basses, and we'll hit 3 fingers on the G for this one. Let's hit record. 3 fingers on the G. That's a pretty cool combo, yeah? So you can see here, just using the autoplay, we've built out a bass for ourselves, and I'm not going to be able to do what I was going to do here because the timing's going to be so off, but if we wanted to, we could then come in here and just play like a single violin sound to be over the top. We'll try it anyway, but I'll have to use autoplay. So we'll just grab autoplay 1 here on the violin itself, and we'll hit record, and just a single tap on the G. And don't forget that because our strings are MIDI instruments, we can go ahead and change all these sounds. So we can tap again, go to edit mode, and we can come in here and edit all of our string sounds. Very, very cool. We can come and just change it. Yeah, very nice. So yeah, you've got a heap of options here with your string sounds, and then we'll just bring this, we'll level these out here with our mixer, and we've got something like this. Very cool, yeah. Yep. Dramatic violins sell diamond rings, says Gary Hubbs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. And add a Celeste sleigh bells and you have a snowman theme, right? Yeah, exactly. Automatic Christmas vibes. Spot on. And yeah, and again, a lot of people say, don't use autoplay, don't use loops, don't do everything. Like let's add some loops to this. Let's add I don't even know what sort of loop we could add to this, but some sort of drum loop. Not a kick loop, but let's just say, I'll just put drums. That's going to be vague, but let's just find something that's going to work with this. Maybe like a halftime funk drum. That could actually work. So let's bring in some funky drums, and then we've changed up our vibe a bit here, haven't we? So yeah, you can start layering things up, and this is where, if you're starting out especially, or even more experienced musicians, this is going to give you an idea, right? Are you already getting melody ideas in your head? Are you already thinking, hey, I could bring in a cool lead guitar in that part, and maybe I add in some trumpets and some brass instruments there, maybe an electric piano there to do some, maybe an organ to do some, that's the sort of thing. This is where inspiration comes from. Again, don't look down on folks that use loops or beats or samples or autoplay. It's all valid and it's all just creative, right? It's all creating music, and as long as you are doing something, if you're stuck for ideas, jump in and grab your strings, play around them. They're very cool. So there you go. That is going to cover, again, we had to adapt there because of the technology issues, but that's going to cover both our tip of the week, which is using the autoplay function. Don't forget your 1, 2, 3 fingers. You get up to 12 different ways to do things, and not just your 4 that it looks like there. And the strings instrument, that's going to be our plugin of the week. All 100% free to use, nothing that you need to do. There you go. Yeah, electric piano, the Housemarque one. That's a good suggestion. I like it a lot. I like it. And yeah, editing. So Gino's mentioned it, and Guzzo of Oz is here, editing the autoplay patterns. Absolutely. In fact, let's just come in here and show you that. So there's a couple of things that you can do with editing the autoplay patterns. So if I say wanted to change this violin here, so obviously there's a very simple pattern, and it's just playing that one note over and over again. So it's just playing on the G. What if I wanted to change this pattern up? I could just bring this up here, up to the B. So it's going to go G, G, B, B, and then we'll bring it down, shall we? Back down to a D. So now if we play this pattern back, we've changed that up, and we're going to get something a little bit different here with this one. So let's have a listen. Cool, yeah? Yeah, so editing your autoplay patterns means that you're going to get a next level stuff. Because, yeah, you don't just want to roll in some autoplay and some loops and then say, yeah, I'm done now. You can actually tweak it and make it your own. And, of course, add in some vocals and add in some other recordings, some found sounds, some effects. Whatever you actually want, it's all there at your fingertips. Righty dokie. Let's continue on. Sounds like it does sound like a bit of a track from Crocodile Dundee. Yeah, it's a bit of a cinematic. When you add strings, it always sounds a bit movie-like, right? There's a reason that those strings are called cinematic, because they're always going to sound a little bit like a movie soundtrack once you add some strings. Let's just say good day to some folks who are here, because we haven't had any questions. Everyone, I must be explaining everything perfectly here today. Totally not going to happen. But let's just go through and see what's going on here. Jade says she's doing a show. Yes, Jade's show in 19 minutes time. Jump over to Jade's channel. Going to check out AU3FX dub. I'm going to go all Mike Patton on some vocals. Sounds like a lot of fun. Gino likes using the cellos and bass. Yeah, the cellos and bass are really good. If you've got a song where you've got too much treble sound and you want to pad out the bottom end, I've done this on a heap of songs, even rock songs or any type of songs that you're working on, singer-songwriter songs. Grab the treble, grab the cello or the double bass and just layer up just some single notes. It can go for like 1 bar or 4 bars or whatever, but just having like that, just your bass note underneath, or sometimes a complementary note. So sometimes anything in the, the 1, 3, 5 kind of range of that particular chord is going to sound cool. It's going to give you a lot of depth to your songs. So it's worth it. Worth it. Three fingers on the G, right? That's what the future's going to be like. It won't be all right, like the old Nashville number system. Okay, this is 1, 4, 5, 6. Watch me for the changes, and yeah, let's go. It'll just be like, okay, everybody, 3 fingers on your G. Let's do it. And everyone will touch their tap screen. Touch their touch screen. I'm fired up today. As you can tell, it means that my mouth is moving faster than my brain, which is never a good thing. Slow down mouth, speed up brain. All right, let's go. As Borthwick says, I'm curious as to whether autoplay would also be able to follow the variable timing of a track imported from music memos. That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't think you can use autoplay on music memos. Should we test it? Hey, we're right here. We might as well. I just deleted that music memos file, but it should just be here in my recently deleted, which it is. We will, oh, hang on. It says I've got it. Oh, the tapping of the OK buttons. All right, let's bring it back. Let's recover it and put it back in where it belongs, where it's acoustic jam. Let's test it out, shall we? Since you asked, I don't think it'll work because you can't use loops and things with this one, but let's find out. So here is our track. And what can we do? If we add in some strings on this sucker, is it going to let us use autoplay? I mean, it looks like it will. What did we say? It was in D at the start here, wasn't it? So let's try this, shall we? We'll hit record. We'll hit the D. Change it to a G. I wasn't fast enough on the chord changes there to keep up with it, but yeah, you know what? It looks like it's worked, which makes me sad, because it means that we do have the functionality in here. We have the functionality for a flexible time signature or flexible tempo, because you can see in here on our tempo, it's automatic. So yeah, but I don't think, so here's the thing, I'm pretty sure that loops are not, oh, loops are here as well. Don't tell me Apple have the absolute ability to allow you to do all of this stuff, but they just don't let you. Yep, you can hear it. You can hear it speeding up. You can totally hear it speeding up those drums and that drum loop along with my original track. So what? Anyway, why can't we have this, Apple? Why can't I play in like a nice acoustic song and it determine that and use auto tempo and then let me use virtual instruments and loops on that acoustic sound? How good would that be? That would make the world of singer-songwriters so much happier, because so many people come to me and they're like, I want to be able to control my tempo because I've got a song where it might have some pauses for effects, or it might have some slight ramping up or ramping down of tempo. It can do it. It just doesn't allow you to do it. Anyway, that's a frustrating thing. Let's see what else we've got here before we finish off the show here. Yeah, so as Gino said, you can edit those autoplay patterns, which is a lot of fun to do. Just coming on down here. Joey Helpish in the house. Hope you're doing well, Joey. Bubba says, I definitely learned something right here. Well, I learned that. There you go. I learned that was something that came through. Sounds great. Yeah, it sounds kind of cool, doesn't it? This could become a song. That's the serendipity of things, is that sometimes you do something like this and it becomes a song. And yeah, the cello or double bass is a great little counterpoint in your piece. Absolutely. It can totally be. And you heard in that one even like that weird that two and the violin on the 2 and 4. If you have like the cello on the ones and then you have violin on the 2 and 4, it can create a really nice, interesting rhythm on there for sure. Let's see if we've got any other comments here. Danny Broderick. I think it calls for a lobby at Apple. Please let us keep music memos. Yeah, right. More music memos and more flexible tempos, because it's clearly there under the hood. Ed Zielinski, hello to you. Stuff that I never considered trying. Right, exactly. Live, learn, love it. Yes, it's a lifelong learning experience, isn't it? And I think as soon as you stop learning, or as soon as you think you know everything, that is when you know nothing. Ooh, we're getting all deep and woo-woo here today. But I honestly believe that. I think there's a lot of people that are limiting their potential and limiting their future knowledge because they think they've learnt it all and they think they know it all already. I will never know everything. I will always be learning, and that is awesome. I want to not know stuff so that I can be constantly surprised and learning new things. That's my story anyway. We should do a show called Come On Apple. Come On Apple. We should totally do a Come On Apple show. I like it. And yes, I could also rant for days. Hello, Capsalam. Capsalam says something funny here. Not something funny. I'm trying to find the right one. It says, hi, Pete and chat. I've been venturing over into the world of Twitch lately. Man, that's a different world. Like, something that rubs me the wrong way is people calling chat. And I don't know what it is about it. It just sounds so dehumanizing. They're like, okay, oh, hey, who's hyped? Come on, chat. Like, let's do this. And I'm like, I can't even. I think I'm just 10 years too old, or 20 years, 30 years too old. I'm old. But yeah, there's just something about that. I don't even like the guys. So people are just like, oh, hey guys, on today's show, guys, we're going to do this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. I'm like, what? Who guys? I'm talking to one person. Like, it's just me and you here, right? Like, this is a one-to-one. I know it's one-to-many, but I like the whole you. And when I say folks, people probably find me saying folks annoying, but I like folks. Anyway, I don't know why that was just a weird random side rant, only because I know that I know that you're a gamer, Capsalam. So without judging, you probably spend a bit of time in Twitch, because if I was a gamer, I sure as heck would. But Twitch is starting to get up there. Music folks are starting to get into Twitch. Other entertainment video folks are getting into Twitch. It's interesting. But I also don't understand, because you have to pay to subscribe to someone. So it's all different terminology. We'll get there. And Gino says, yeah, I hate the guys thing. I think it's just because my kids watch so many things, and so many videos just start like, hi guys. And it's just like, I do. I tease my children. I'm like, are you watching that teenager yelling at you channel again? Because every video they watch seems to be a teenager yelling at them for some reason. Like, the video just starts and they're like, attention spans are short. We need to talk really fast and really loud and call you guys like straight away. I'm like, yeah, okay. But again, each of their own. I'm just old. Lando says, did you ever open GB on Mac yet? No, I didn't. No, I did. I have opened it, and I said at the start of the show that I will be doing some GarageBand Mac exploration this week. So, yes, I'll finally be getting around to it now that my M1 is up and running. I've got my mixer plugged into it so I can start plugging in mics and guitars and recording, and then hopefully also streaming those as well. So I'll be starting doing that over on Patreon just because they'll probably be 2 and 3 hour streams, and I like to subject people who pay me to the most annoying stuff. It doesn't make sense, does it? They should get the curated stuff. They should get the stuff when I've actually worked it out. But I tend to do the more behind the scenes stuff. And to be honest, again, shout out to those over on Patreon. They supported me with all of my troubleshooting. When I was first working out how to stream with the Mac and getting my camera set up and getting my audio set up, we did about 1 hour stream. It was frustrating. I was getting annoyed, but all the folks that were in the chat over on Patreon were helping out and saying, Pete, try this. Have you tried that? Have you tried this? And eventually we got there. So thank you. Tom says, yeah, I've seen live stream concerts on Twitch. Absolutely. I need to up my Twitch game. For all that I say about it, I'm still learning. I'm still watching and learning. It's like Instagram. It's like TikTok. I don't really get them, but I'm at least learning them, at least understanding them. I think even if you're not going to use something, it doesn't hurt to actually at least know what's there, because let's be honest, a lot of this stuff is going to come over to the platforms we do know. We've seen it with Facebook and with YouTube, Instagram Reels. Like, they're all basically trying to be TikTok now because short form vertical content is where it's at. For whatever reason, people want to watch stuff on their phone like this, not like this. I don't know what's so difficult about turning it sideways and having a good video experience, but apparently everyone wants to see it like this. That's just an old man ranting about something that has already been done. It's already been decided. Landscape lost. Portrait, I declare you the winner. I'm not going to be happy about it, but you win. I don't actually care as much about this stuff, by the way. It's just a bit of fun. Hey, Pete, my auto-tune won't work on GarageBand. Can I have help? I mean, you can. I've got a few videos on auto-tune or on the pitch control. Yeah, we'll need more info about what actually is not working about it. It's pretty simple. The pitch control, it's not super controllable. But yeah, if you use lead vocals, add the pitch correction, pitch control, you should be good to go. As a beginner, which one should I use? GarageBand? GarageBand Mac or iOS? Yeah, I get this question a lot. I prefer iOS because I think just having the touch instruments makes things so much easier. So I think you can come in here, and when you start with GarageBand, I don't know why I'm using it on my phone because I have it right over here. Let's bring it up here. So the difference here is that you've got a touch screen here, yes? So if you want to start playing things in, you can come straight into your keyboard. In fact, there's one bonus tip here for the string stuff. You can actually come in here, go to your other sounds, and there are also some string sounds here. So if we want to use some strings, we can use these ones here. And then you've got your keyboard laid right out here for you. So as we see, hang on, where is it? Got to just take that away so you can see. So you can just start playing in sounds here. And look, you can use your typing keyboard on Mac, but it's just so much easier to do it here. And then, of course, you've got, your guitar instruments, your drum instruments. Everything can just be done by actually tapping directly in there. So that just makes life easier, that when you want to just create like some drum sounds, you can come in here, tap them into your beat sequencer, get yourself some nice funky beats going on. So yeah, I think for an absolute beginner, so for my kids, for instance, they could use GarageBand on iOS. It'll be interesting to see how they go on the Mac, because they'll be like, what do I tap? Where do I start? How do I do this? Because you add a track, unless you've got a MIDI keyboard there, or unless you've got like a guitar plugged in or a microphone plugged in, what are you creating? You're bringing in loops at the end of the day, aren't you? So I think you have a little bit more flexibility there. Have I tried LumaFusion on the Mac? I have. I've loaded it. I turned it on and I fired it up. I haven't actually tried editing on the Mac because all my LumaFusion editing's done on iPhone, because I can do it while I'm mobile, while I'm on the go. Joey Helpish, bringing back the How To song on YouTube next week and making songs on my new M1 Mac for anyone interested. Everyone should be interested in Joey Helpish. Go and check out Joey Helpish's channel. It is very cool. Arnie G says, try following a chat on Twitch with 100,000 watching live. I like it here where we can say hi to each other. Yep, I'm old. Yep, I'm old too. That's okay. Whether you're young or old, by the way, I say all of this stuff. Sometimes I get in trouble because in Australia we're a little bit sarcastic, we're a little bit cynical. Some of our humor is like a little bit, sounds like we're having a go because we are, but it's all in love, right? So whenever I say, "Oh, I'm an old man, these kids these days get off my lawn," I don't actually have a problem with it. I think it's cool. And I think that some of the technology and some of the things that we're able to do these days are awesome. I just like what I like. And I'm not that I'm too old to change, but I like what I like. And I want to let other people like what they like. And hey, I'm in the minority now. So that's fine. More power to the people doing their things. We'll answer a couple more questions and then we will get out of here because Jade's starting in just 5 minutes. Metalhead Hippie in the house. Hope you are doing well. Ed Solinsky, it's impressive how the Apple instruments have touch pressure. Exactly. So you can play in and you've got touch sensitivity on your instruments, especially on your... This is why I don't have it here, but my old iPhone 6S is still my favorite thing to just get ideas down because it's got 3D touch, it's got touch sensitivity on all your instruments, it's got like a nice size screen. I got the 6S Plus, or no, what was it? 6S Max? I can't remember what the naming was, but yeah, that was my favorite device to create in GarageBand because you had all of that going on. Sorry, I got a bit ranty here today, didn't I? Pete, where do you store or manage your precious music files? iCloud, local backup, etc. Yeah, so I recently, when I say recently, a while ago, I upgraded my iCloud storage. So I pay $15 a month here in Australia and I get 2 terabytes of iCloud storage. So everything is on iCloud Drive for my GarageBand stuff. So this GarageBand for iOS folder is all here and you can see it separated out. If we do the thing here, we'll list it by name. So you can see I've got my ideas folder, in progress, complete, background music, all of my different folders here and a few things that inevitably spill out of the folders. But all of these are on all my devices, my iPhone and my iPads, and then they're all backed up to iCloud. So I just made that call that for me, $15 a month, plus I can back up all of my family's devices to iCloud. So, if we've got a bunch of devices that are, 32, 64, 128, 256 gigabytes, they can all be backed up and safely stored over on iCloud Drive as well. So I decided that for $15 a month, that was well worth it. I don't have to play around with zipping up and storing on Google Drive and Dropbox and whatnot. Everything I have is right here. And when I hit the point where I've got more than 2 terabytes worth of projects, well, then I'll have to start zipping them up, storing them on external USB drives. But yeah, that's probably my secondary method if I've got a bunch of big projects. So when I finish an EP or an album, I will zip up all those projects into one zip file and I'll pop those onto Google Drive or Dropbox. So they're there for safe keeping. So that's my tip on that one. Alrighty, we are going to have to finish up there. Death Chains, I can see that you got some information there. We'll answer this real quick. So I press the auto-tune option, I'll begin to sing, and I go back. There'll be no auto-tune effect, even when the effect is all the way up. Jump over to the GarageBand Users Facebook group. Share some screenshots or share some video or some screen captures. I'm sure the wonderful folks over there will be able to help you out. And that's a good segue, because if you would like more GarageBand help and knowledge and information, head on over to the GarageBand Users Facebook group. You can get there by going to studiolivetoday.com/GBU. That'll take you straight into Facebook. And I know not everyone's a Facebook user, but I also know that a lot of folks have joined Facebook just to be a member of that group, because we got 5,000 plus very active, very helpful, very cool people that will help you with your GarageBand. Whether you're on iPhone, iPad, Mac, or all of the above, you'll be able to get the help that you need over there. All right, that is going to do it for now. Now is the time where you need to jump over. In fact, before we finish up, has Jade set up her stream? I'll search it out, and I'll make sure that everyone can jump over to Jade's channel and check out how to app, because she's got a giveaway here. It's episode 142, would you believe? Exploring the voice of 1,000 maniacs. That's what she's about to do. I'm going to throw the link there in the chat here. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, go down there right now. Jump on over to Jade's channel. We're about to finish up here in 30 seconds, so you've got time. Grab that link, jump over to Jade's How to App channel. She's checking out a cool new app, which if you're a GarageBand user, you'll want to know about, because you get to find out for free. Let Jade be your guinea pig. That's going to do it for now. Head over to studiolivetoday.com if you want to find out more information. Got some value today, had some fun, liked listening to an old man ranting about what the kids are doing. Hit the like button, that helps me out. Subscribe to the channel for more of this shenanigans, and I'll see you around the channel through the week. Please be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, because you're all very cool people, and keep creating. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.